Excellent pot, but what can he make from it now? Not a straightforward chance, but it's a decent one.
Eight. Foul.
Well, that's just extraordinary.
That's right.
All that jockeying for position, trying to get in and have a frame-winning chance. And then he does that. Scooped right under the ball. Completely hurdled the red he was playing. And in a sense, Carter was fortunate that the cue ball went into the pocket. If it had wobbled in the jaws and come back out, could very easily have left a red on.
Foul. Alicats of 4.
Well, it's just not coming together for either of them so far. This isn't something you see every day. I think there's some sort of electrical lead. You see it. The black thing on the floor there. And it's getting in the way of the players. They've tried to move it between them. Maybe 30 points behind, but this is the sort of frame that Selby tends to win a very high percentage of. He's just so good at finding a way to win. Which is not to say he's going to win this one, of course. Not an ideal way to start the day, this. Could be as many as 5 matches for either or both of these players today, depending on how they do. You don't want to be getting bogged down in too much of this sort of play early on. But if that's the way the frame goes, you've got to dig in.
Foul. Miss. I like that's a full.
Yeah, Selby pointing out it's pretty much come back to where it was.
Yeah.
Wouldn't have taken much replacing, but in the end it didn't take any because Carter put Selby into play from where the ball had come to rest, which of course is always an option. But this a very clear chance for Carter to get over the line in what's been a long drawn out opening frame.
Whoa.
So just red and colour required now.
6. 7.
Just holding the spot to leave a simple red.
12.
And I don't think we'll be seeing Selby back at the table now.
Eighteen. 90.
Not a frame to live long in the memory then, but Ali Carter won't be bothered about that. He's won it comfortably, and he leads the world number 1 and group leader, Mark Selby, by 1 frame to 0.
If you want to go and get a drink, you can go and get them if you want.
Yeah, go on, mate. Cheers, mate. One sugar. One.
One sugar.
Do you want one, Rob?
No, I'm all right.
Well, this isn't something you see every day.
I've got, because I'm keen.
No, I know you. I know. Yeah.
The thing is,
The world's number 1 player going off to make him and his opponent a cup of tea. I know there's been a bit of an issue with the heating and it's very cold in the arena. But that's the friendly nature of what goes on here at Championship League. Now on the other table, as I was saying, it's Ryan Day against Barry Hawkins. The bottom 2 players in the table going into day 2 of the group. Well, Day has won the opening frame. And he's in play with a small lead in the second.
Especially on your bridge down. Yeah. Yeah.
This is the sort of situation Day thrives on, loves being in among the balls. Heavy scoring has always been his biggest forte. He doesn't have quite the all-round game to fall back on that other players do. And after going through a fairly long career without winning a ranking title up to the start of last season, he won 2 during the 2017-18 campaign. And also a high-quality invitational event in Romania.
No biscuits. No biscuits. Yeah. Second frame, Mark Selby to break.
So the tea's ready, and we're underway in frame 2. Selby's been very hospitable to his fellow players this week. Apart from making tea for Ali Carter, he's had Barry Hawkins staying at his house all week. Not too far to travel.
6. I cast a 6.
Not seen much break building in this match so far, but what we have seen is a lot of very high quality safety. Selby acknowledging with the tap on the table just how good that shot was from Carter. And that's not a bad reply. Well, that was always the thing with that shot. The red was on, but it was low percentage in terms of getting position.
I cast a 1.
Played for the blue, but always had the insurance policy of the green over the ball pocket.
Five.
Carter won his first 2 matches yesterday, both 3-1 against Ryan Day and Graham Dott, and he would have been fancying his chances against Luca Brissell, who had been struggling through the day.
Just rolled over there. On a slate line.
And even more so when Carter made a century in the first frame against the Belgian. But Brissell suddenly started turning it on, had a century of his own, a 1-3-5. highest break in the group so far,
12.
and ended up winning the match. Not sure exactly what happened there. I think he said something about
18.
the slate under the cloth.
$19. 25. 26. Cheers, Alex.
A win here for Carter would see him join Selby at the top on 3 wins, and depending on the result, it could be enough to actually put him in first place.
$32. 33. 33.
But as with his chance in the first frame, he's broken down in the mid-30s. It was tricky enough, but you still would have thought he was more likely to get it than not.
I'll go and tell him at the end of the frame that. Do you want me to go and tell him now? Yeah, we can break for a second. Just give me a second.
Well, I think there's going to be a break in play here. It does seem to be extremely cold in the arena. As I was saying, there was some issue with the heating.
Right, just give us a sec. Go on, tell him.
Carter, as you may know, has battled cancer on a couple of occasions, and I think he was saying that because of that, he's particularly susceptible to the cold. So I'm not sure exactly what Rob Spencer's gone off to do. I know they were trying to get the heating fixed. Tournament organisers were aware of the problem this morning. We actually had a delay to play earlier in the week because it was so cold in the arena. It didn't start for about half an hour after the scheduled time. Well, it's just as well the clock has been stopped, because Ali Carter's average shot time would go way up if it hadn't been. Certainly getting plenty of opportunity to study this. Going to have to play a good shot now after all this time.
She's getting on to him again.
That's the standings in the table. Mark Selby, as I say, on 3 wins, and then 3 players on 2 and 3 on 1, so another really tight group. That'll all be resolved over the next 4, 5, 6 hours, something like that. Anyway, the referee is back. He's had a word with somebody behind the scenes to try to get the heating sorted out. As I was saying, it is a particularly tight group. Well, so was the one earlier in the week. And then combination of results meant that it was all resolved quite quickly in the end. And in fact, we went into the last match of the round robin section already knowing our 4 semi-finalists.
Well. Seven. Eight.
So this frame following a somewhat similar pattern to the first one. Carter taking control with a break in the mid-30s. Selby trying to battle his way back in. And Carter getting a good chance to add the few remaining balls he needs to get over the line. He was able to do it in the previous frame. He's closing in on doing it again here.
Faulty.
So 55 in front. Pink is for the frame. He missed a similar pink into that pocket when he was in with the earlier chance, but no mistake this time, and it looks as though Carter's going 2-0 up here.
Cheers, Ollie, thanks. 22.
Yeah, just get a cup warm. Just get it warm. Yes, mate, you did.
28. 29.
Carter's almost starting to jog round the table to keep
On
warm.
the frame, Ollie Carter.
Selby's conceded. He has the only unbeaten record in this group, but it's under real threat now. He didn't pot a ball in that frame, and with a couple of breaks in the 30s, Ali Carter has taken it. He leads the world number 1 by 2 frames to 0. Well, if Carter takes the next frame to complete the whitewash, then, as I was saying, he'll go level with Selby on 3 wins, but he would then be ahead of him on the frames countback, so that would put him in first place. There's another look at the table. 3-0 win would put Carter on 10 frames won, overtaking Selby. And that would leave him in really good shape to go through, with still 2 matches to come, back-to-back this afternoon on this table, against Stuart Bingham and Barry Hawkins. You see Bingham has lost a lot of frames there. He had 2 deciders back-to-back on this table last night. He was out there for over 3.5 hours. Came away with nothing, really. Back-to-back defeats, 3-2 against Selby and Graham Dott.
Third frame, Ollie Carter to break.
So Ali Carter starts us off in frame 3, needing one more to beat the world number 1.
Yeah, I can see that, yeah. Yeah, that's fine, thank you. Foul. Miss. Ali Carter foot.
Just to update you on the other table, Ryan Day has won the second frame on the black against Barry Hawkins, so Day now leading 2-0.
One.
Carter so dependable on that sort of mid-range red.
Eight. Nine.
There have been 91 previous Championship League groups, and only 9 times has the player finishing top of the table won all 6 matches, and 3 of those 9 have been Mark Selby. Came into today's play already halfway to doing it again, but that's under real threat now.
40.
Mind you, might not be the worst thing in the world for him if he did lose a match, because on none of those 3 occasions, when he won all 6 of his round-robin matches, did he actually end up going on to win the group final.
$50. $22.
Selby's been around the Championship League long enough to know how things can turn. Earlier this week, Luca Brissell was in that position, 3 wins out of 3 on the first day of the group, then lost all 3 the next day, didn't even make the group semi-finals, but he at least did finish 5th to get another shot in this group. Mark King last week had 3 out of 3 in terms of wins overnight, then lost all 3 on the second day.
30.
He finished in the bottom 2 and was eliminated altogether.
$31. $38. $39.
This is now the highest break of the match, but Carter will need a good shot to keep it going any further. And that's what he's got, but he's going to need another good one now.
44. Alicante 44.
And once again, Carter has built a decent lead, but has broken down. So we're back in the familiar scenario of the first two frames, with Selby trying to come from behind.
One.
Oh, what a stroke of fortune that is. And he needed it to drop, because if it had bounced away from the pocket, he was leaving a red on.
8.
Remarkable that it wriggled in, going at so much pace. He does like to complain about the running that he and his opponents get sometimes, Carter. I think he's justified in his complaints there.
60.
We saw a spate of matches in the last group where players came from 2-0 down to win 3-2. And that's the beauty of the best of 5 format. You're never so far behind that you don't have a chance until it's over. And of course, there's nobody better at going to the brink of defeat and turning it round than the man at the table.
$25.
Well, the problem there was the previous shot. He'd run out of ideal position on the black.
42.
And that's why he's now totally out of position on the red. So Carter will be coming back to the table. You get the feeling he could be in a tight spot when he does.
Selby 32. Selby 4.
Well, Carter came down to have a look, but whatever he was working out, it didn't go to plan.
One.
And Selby very quickly back in.
5. Ten. Eleven. Seventeen. Eight.
I thought he might use that last red to lay a snooker behind the black, but he's gone to move it and hasn't managed to do so. Well, he has moved it, but not to where he wanted to.
Mark Selby 80.
And in the end, through a different route, Carter did find himself snookered on the last red. Although he's made contact, he's left a chance for Selby to pot it. Well, Selby needed a bit of luck there. Not sure whether or not he's had it. There may be a path through to this red. There was, and if Carter had potted it, he would probably have gone on to clinch frame and match from there. Instead, that chance falls to Selby. Well, Carter straight back to the table, but touch and go whether there's room to get to this red. I think there just about is in terms of the potting angle. Well, this is definitely a chance from much closer range. And again, if Selby gets it, should win the frame from there.
Thanks, Mark. One.
Well, it's not going to go quite that way.
Mark Selby 1.
It seemed certain he was going to land on something, but he may well have played it that way with an element of safety, get the cue ball in behind the black. Just plays such a patient game, Selby.
Foul. Miss.
Is this a free ball?
Black Selby
It
4,
is.
free ball.
And the brown is on to the middle. Well, he had a range of options there. Could have taken the miss, could have taken the free ball. Instead, he's putting Carter back in from where the balls have come to rest.
Foul, miss. Black Selby 4. Yeah.
Never pushes the boat out in these situations, Selby. If he feels there's a chance that he can force a better opening by putting his opponent back in rather than taking on a tricky pot himself, he'll have no hesitation in doing it. Third time lucky, and he's got it safe.
Thanks, pal.
He hasn't got it safe this time, though. One good shot here could set Selby up to get back to 2-1. Needs yellow, green and brown.
Two.
Well, it's a tight call as to whether he can get through to the potting angle. Even if he can, it's a tricky one. I don't think he can, looking at it from that angle. Oh, he's had real good fortune there. The double kiss has actually knocked the green safe when he might well have left it on. And if Selby had left the green on, more likely than not, it would have been his last shot in this match. Really good effort from Carter. Ryan Day, who lost his first 2 matches in this group, has now won his next 2. He's beaten Barry Hawkins 3-0 on the other table. And that leaves Hawkins with just 1 win from 4 and bottom of the group table. He was runner-up in the last group, but really struggling now to stay in it this time. And Hawkins will be straight back onto that table to play Graham Dott in just a few minutes. The way this is going, we could still be on the green on this table by the time they start. Ooh, so close to dropping in the middle. He's been close a few times now to potting this green. And he would have had a shot at the brown as well. But instead, he's left it on to the middle for Selby.
Three.
Who now needs the brown to leave Carter needing snookers.
Max Selby 3.
But still hope for Carter in this frame. Fantastic shot. Now he has a pot on the blue here. Slightly tricky shot to get on the pink. But if he can get on the pink at the right angle, should be easy enough to drop on the black along the cushion, and that'll be for the match. Well, he's gone to move the black, and it's worked out pretty well. A little closer to the side cushion than he would have liked.
No.
And as a result, he's missed it, he's left it, and he's certainly going to lose the frame now. So what a battle this has been. Carter was, in a sense, a shot away from completing the match there. If he'd potted the pink, he would have had a straightforward black to complete the 3-0 win. Instead, Selby prevails in that one, and he's still in the match. Carter leads 2-1. Another really long frame, went on for almost half an hour, that one. So Luca Brissell and Stuart Bingham will have to go on waiting. Might have been expecting to get on the table by now. They could have a while to wait yet, because we know how Selby digs in when he gets to the brink of defeat. Carter may be regretting now that he tried to move the black. It was a good positive shot to play, but he didn't absolutely have to play it. Could have left himself the black rather, along the cushion. But of course, if it had worked out, would be commending him for his courage. By winning that frame, Selby ensures that whatever happens now, he'll still be in first place in the group at the end of this match.
Fourth frame. Mark Selby to break.
So Mark Selby was a couple of balls away from his first defeat in the group, but he's still battling away. He trails 2-1 as we move into frame 4. Seems a long time ago now, but worth remembering that Carter was 48-0 up in that previous frame and closing in on finishing off frame and match until he missed a red from mid-distance.
One. Four.
He got just the flick he was looking for on the green, but that pot wasn't a certainty. Having made it though, Selby now has the sort of chance you might set up for yourself in a practice routine. Okay, the black's tied up, but the pink is available, and with the reds positioned as they are, that's not really a problem. Blue available as well, of course. And even at this very early stage, with only 18 points on the board, Carter might be starting to prepare himself mentally to play a decider.
$90. 25. 26. 31. 32. 'Selby 32.
But we really didn't see that coming. It wasn't even as if he wobbled it in the jaws. He missed it by some way. You've got to wonder to what extent the cold out in the arena is affecting the players. We saw Selby making a gesture with his hand there, trying to keep it warm. And against all expectations, Carter is back at the table with a chance to finish this off.
7. 8.
'If he does, it'll be his 3rd win in a row against Selby since losing to him during Selby's march to the world title in 2014.
15. 21.
Developing nicely here. He can now clear the black into both pockets, importing this red.
$22.
But you wouldn't say these reds were ideally placed. The one near the right-hand side cushion, obviously the biggest issue.
$29. 30. Cheers, Ali, thanks. 36. 37.
So he's developed the reds on the left-hand side of the table nicely. And now it looks to be all about the one on the right.
$43. 44. 49. $50.
And the whole match now seems to hinge on this next shot. Pot the pink, get on the last red. He should close it out. Well, it's not
56.
ideal, but he'll settle for that. So this red and any colour except yellow to get over the line. Well, what an effort this has been. It was far from straightforward when he came to the table, but he's shown all his break-building qualities here. Looked for all the world as though we were going to a decider, just as we did in that World quarter-final between them 12 years ago now. But very unexpectedly, Selby broke down on 32.
64.
Carter has been absolutely clinical, and as I said, he just seems to thrive on it when the finishing line comes into view.
$71. 76.
Not many people have ever beaten Mark Selby 3 times in a row, whatever the distance. But Ali Carter has now. And with that